Milo stared at the strange planet beneath him. From the small spaceship window, Viralia glowed like a jewel in the darkness of space. Its surface shimmered with colors he had never seen on Earth. There were forests that glowed softly, rivers that sparkled like liquid crystals, and mountains that seemed to float above the ground. He felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. This was the first time a human had set foot on Viralia, and everything depended on him. The spaceship's landing was smooth, but as soon as Milo stepped outside, he felt the difference in gravity. It was slightly lighter than Earth's, and every movement felt like floating. The air was breathable, crisp, and carried a soft, sweet scent that made him feel calm. Strange plants moved as if they could sense him, their leaves waving gently. Milo adjusted his backpack and started walking toward the palace that the alien guides had pointed out. He had seen images of it before, but nothing prepared him for the reality. The palace was enormous, rising like a crystal tower from the forest floor. Light passed through its walls in shifting colors, casting patterns that danced on the ground. Strange symbols glowed on the surface, moving like they were alive. Guards stood at the entrance, tall and elegant, with skin that shimmered like moonlight. Their eyes were deep and intelligent, watching Milo carefully but without hostility. One of the guards stepped forward and spoke in a calm, musical voice. "Welcome, human. I am Cora. Follow me to Queen Zara." Milo nodded and tried to hide his awe. He followed Cora through the palace gates. Inside, the halls were vast and bright. The walls seemed to breathe with light, and the floors reflected everything like polished water. Milo felt a mixture of wonder and nervousness as he walked. Every step echoed slightly, and he could hear distant sounds that seemed like singing from the walls themselves. Finally, they reached a large chamber. At the center stood Queen Zara. She was taller than Milo expected, graceful, and radiated a strange beauty that made the room feel calm yet powerful. Her skin shimmered softly, her eyes were deep and golden, and her hair floated slightly as if it had a life of its own. She regarded Milo with a look of curiosity. "Welcome, human," she said. Her voice was gentle but carried authority. "I have read much about your species. Now I wish to learn from you directly." Milo bowed politely. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I am honored to be here. I come with peaceful intentions and a desire to learn about your world." Zara smiled faintly. It was not a usual expression for her. "We have heard of humans' creativity and courage. Tell me, Milo, what is it that makes your species different?" Milo paused, thinking carefully. "Humans are curious and brave. We learn by trying, failing, and trying again. We care about each other and work together even when it is difficult. Sometimes we do things that seem impossible, but we never give up." Zara listened closely, her golden eyes focused on him. Milo could feel her attention as if it were a physical presence. The room was quiet, and even the guards seemed to wait for her response. Finally, she nodded. "I see. That is, rare among the species we have observed. Perhaps there is much we can learn from you." Suddenly, the palace walls shifted. Light formed into moving shapes, showing images of Viralia's history and its people. Milo could see wars fought long ago, great achievements, and the rise of Queen Zara's rule. He realized that the aliens were deeply connected to their history, and their culture was rich and advanced. It made him even more aware of how small and new he was in this world. After the viewing, Zara spoke again. "You will stay in our palace as a guest, Milo. You will meet our scholars and our council. They will observe you as you learn about Viralia. You may also teach them about Earth. This exchange may benefit both our worlds. Milo nodded. I will do my best to help and learn. As he was shown to his room, Milo looked out of the window. The floating mountains reflected in the rivers below. Lights shimmered like stars on the forest floor. He felt both fear and excitement. He was far from home, in a world that seemed almost alive, and he was about to meet beings whose minds were as sharp as any human's, if not sharper. That night, Milo lay in his room, thinking about the next day. He wondered what it would be like to live among beings so different, to share ideas and stories, and to be a part of something that could change the future. Deep down, he knew that this was only the beginning. Viralaya was full of wonders, challenges, and mysteries, and he had arrived just in time to be part of them. The stars outside shone brighter than he had ever seen, and Milo felt a spark of hope. Perhaps humans were not just explorers, they could be connectors between worlds, and his journey had just begun. The next morning, Milo woke to the soft glow of Viralaya's twin suns. Light streamed through the walls of his room, filling it with a calm, golden hue. The palace was quiet, yet alive. Milo could hear the hum of energy running through the building, a sound unlike anything on Earth. It felt alive, like the palace itself was breathing. After a light breakfast of fruits that shimmered like jewels, Milo was escorted by Cora to a grand hall. The floor beneath his feet seemed to ripple slightly with every step, as if the building recognized his presence. At the far end of the hall, Queen Zara awaited. She stood tall and elegant, surrounded by advisors and scholars. Their clothing reflected the light, creating patterns that moved like living colors. Zara's golden eyes met Milo's immediately. There was a spark of curiosity in her gaze, and Milo felt it as if it were a gentle wind brushing against him. He bowed respectfully. "Good morning, Your Majesty," he said, his voice steady but full of awe. "Good morning, Milo," Zara replied, her voice calm and melodic. "You have traveled far. I hope the journey was not too difficult." Milo shook his head. "It was challenging, but I am honored to be here. Your world is beautiful, and I am eager to learn." Zara nodded thoughtfully. "We have observed humans for some time, but seeing you in person is different. There is something in your presence that is unusual. Our people are cautious, yet I feel trust in you already." Milo smiled slightly, feeling both nervous and proud. "I will do my best to be worthy of that trust." Zara motioned for him to follow her. As they walked through the palace, Milo noticed the walls shifting with light and images, showing scenes of Viralaya's landscapes, cities, and history. He tried to take in everything at once, but the palace seemed to have endless wonders. "You must understand," Zara said as they walked, "that Viralaya is a world of knowledge and history. Our people value wisdom and understanding above all else. We are cautious because the universe holds many dangers, but we also seek new ideas. Perhaps humans can teach us something we do not yet know." Milo listened carefully. "We humans are curious. We ask questions, explore new lands, and sometimes make mistakes. But through those mistakes, we learn and grow. That is our way of moving forward." Zara stopped and looked at him directly. Curiosity and courage are rare qualities. Many species fear the unknown. They hide from what they cannot control. Humans seem different. Perhaps that is why you were chosen to come here. They entered a large room filled with floating crystals. Each crystal emitted soft light and showed moving images of Viralaya's great achievements. Milo noticed the council members watching him from a distance. Their expressions were serious but curious. They whispered among themselves in a language he could not understand. "These are our scholars," Zara explained. "They study knowledge, science, and history. They will observe you, and in return, you may teach them about Earth and human ways." Milo nodded. "I am ready to share what I know, and I am eager to learn from your people as well." Zara smiled faintly, a rare expression that few had ever seen. "Very well. Let the exchange begin." One of the scholars floated forward, holding a device that projected moving images of Earth. Milo explained the landscapes, animals, and cities. He described human culture, teamwork, and simple inventions that had changed the world. The aliens listened intently, asking questions that challenged him to think carefully. Milo noticed Zara watching more than anyone else. Her golden eyes were focused and bright, and she seemed fascinated by every word. When he spoke of humans working together to solve problems, she nodded slowly, as if understanding something deeper than the words themselves. Later, Milo was shown a musical instrument made of glowing crystals. He touched it carefully, unsure if it would work. When he played a simple melody, the sound filled the room, resonating with the crystal walls. Zara closed her eyes for a moment, listening intently. When the last note faded, she opened her eyes and smiled. "That is beautiful," she said softly. "Music is a language we understand, but this is different. It carries feeling, courage, and warmth. Humans create in ways we sometimes forget." Milo felt proud but also humbled. Music is one way we connect with each other. It helps us understand emotions and ideas that words cannot always explain. Zara's smile lingered. "I am beginning to see why humans are special. Your ways are simple yet powerful. There is wisdom in your humility and strength in your curiosity." The council members exchanged glances, clearly surprised at Zara's words. Milo realized that he had made a strong impression, not through strength or power, but through honesty and knowledge. As the day ended, Milo was escorted back to his room. He looked out over the glowing forests of Viralaya, thinking about the interactions he had today. He had met a queen unlike any other, and he felt a strange connection to her, a mix of respect, curiosity, and admiration. That night, as Milo lay in bed, he wondered what tomorrow would bring. He knew that Viralaya held many mysteries, and he had only just begun to understand the world. Yet one thought stayed in his mind: Queen Zara was unlike any ruler he had ever known, and he felt that their paths were connected in ways he could not yet understand. For the first time, Milo realized that this mission was not just about exploring a new world. It was about understanding it, learning from it, and perhaps leaving a mark that would last longer than he had ever imagined. The next morning, Milo was guided to a courtyard unlike anything he had seen before. It was enormous, filled with floating flowers that glowed softly and streams of water that seemed to move in patterns as if dancing to an unheard rhythm. Birds with translucent wings flew through the air, their songs blending with the gentle hum of the palace itself. Milo felt as if he had stepped into a dream. Queen Zara appeared at the entrance of the courtyard, her presence commanding yet gentle. "Milo," she said, her golden eyes shining in the sunlight, "today I would like to show you something that our people treasure. Follow me." Milo nodded and followed, careful not to trip on the glowing paths beneath his feet. They entered a room filled with objects from Viralaya's past. Crystals, tools, and artifacts of strange design were arranged neatly. Each item pulsed faintly, giving off a soft light. Zara picked up a small, glowing crystal and held it out to Milo. "This is a memory crystal," she explained. "It contains a story from our ancestors. Touch it, and you will see the past as it was. Milo hesitated for a moment before placing his hand on the crystal. Images appeared in his mind: ancient cities, battles, celebrations, and ordinary lives of beings long gone. He was amazed at how vivid and real it felt. When he removed his hand, Zara looked at him, her expression unreadable. "You can see it," she said softly. "Few outsiders can perceive the memories like this. Humans are unique." Milo felt a sense of pride but also humility. He had always believed humans were clever, but this recognition from a queen of another world made him feel small and important at the same time. Zara then led him to a section of the room where musical instruments were arranged. They were unlike anything Milo had seen before, made of crystal, metal, and light. One instrument caught his eye. It was small, shaped like a human flute, but it shimmered with energy. "This is for you," Zara said, handing it to him. "Try it." Humans express themselves in ways that often surprise us. Milo took a deep breath and played a simple melody. The sound was clear and sweet, echoing through the chamber. To his surprise, the crystals in the room began to vibrate in response, creating a harmony that filled the space. Zara closed her eyes, listening intently. When the music ended, she opened her eyes, her expression softening. "Your music carries feeling," she said. "It is not just sound. It tells a story, shows courage, and expresses hope. Humans have a way of touching hearts even without words." Milo smiled, realizing that this was more than a compliment. It was a recognition of something deep within him, something that connected their worlds. For the rest of the day, Milo and Zara explored the palace together. She showed him gardens that floated in midair, rooms where colors shifted with emotion, and libraries filled with glowing books that told stories through light and sound. Milo was amazed at the intelligence and creativity of Viralaya. He shared stories of Earth in return, describing mountains, oceans, forests, and cities. Zara listened with fascination, asking questions that revealed her deep curiosity about human life. By evening, they reached a quiet terrace overlooking the glowing forests. The twin suns were setting, painting the sky with colors that Milo could not name. Zara leaned on the railing, her eyes reflecting the light. "You are unlike any being I have met," she said quietly. "You see the world with simplicity and clarity. You do not hide your thoughts, yet you understand the depth of things. I feel drawn to your perspective." Milo felt a warmth in his chest. Her words were unexpected, but they did not feel threatening. Instead, they felt sincere, as if she truly appreciated him for who he was. "I am honored, Your Majesty," Milo said. "I do not fully understand your world, but I am trying. I hope my presence here is useful and not a burden." Zara smiled faintly. "You are not a burden. You remind us of qualities we sometimes forget: courage, honesty, and hope. That is why I wish to learn from you." Milo felt a mix of pride and responsibility. He realized that this was more than an exchange of knowledge. It was the beginning of a connection between two very different beings, a bridge between human and alien understanding. As night fell, Milo returned to his room, carrying the small crystal flute Zara had given him. He thought about the day, about Zara's words, and the feeling that something important had begun. This was not just about exploring a new world. It was about building understanding, forming trust, and perhaps discovering qualities in himself that he had never known existed. Outside, the forests of Viralaya glowed softly under the twin moons. Milo lay on his bed, listening to the gentle hum of the palace. He knew that tomorrow would bring more lessons, more discoveries, and perhaps more moments that would change both his life and the lives of those he had come to meet. For the first time, Milo felt that he was not just a visitor. He was part of something greater, a strange, beautiful connection that might shape the future in ways he could not yet imagine. The morning air on Viralaya was cool and filled with a soft golden glow. Milo walked through the palace gardens, carrying the small crystal flute Zara had given him. The floating flowers and glowing streams made him feel calm, but a sense of unease lingered in the air. Even the palace seemed quieter than usual. He was greeted by Cora, who looked unusually serious. "Milo," Cora said, "there is news. The outer regions of Viralaya have detected an approaching fleet. They are aggressive and refuse communication. The council is discussing how to respond." Milo's heart quickened. This was the first real threat he had encountered on Viralaya, and he knew that the queen and her people would look to him for advice because of the trust they had begun to place in him. Milo followed Cora to the council chamber. Queen Zara was already there, standing tall with her golden eyes focused on the view of the approaching fleet. The council members whispered among themselves, their faces tense. Ships from the neighboring species were moving quickly, their designs sharp and intimidating. "We cannot allow them to enter our territory," Zara said. "But our scouts report that they are powerful. Many of you suggest using force. What do you propose, human?" Milo felt the eyes of the entire council on him. He took a deep breath. "Your Majesty, I believe we can handle this without unnecessary fighting. Humans often face stronger opponents with careful planning and teamwork rather than just strength." A murmur ran through the council. Some members looked skeptical, while others were curious. Milo continued. "If we observe their patterns and predict their movements, we can create traps and distractions. We can use Viralaya's environment to our advantage. This way, we can protect our people while minimizing risk and damage." Zara nodded slowly, her expression thoughtful. "Explain further." Milo walked to the large holographic map in the center of the chamber. Using small gestures, he indicated points on the terrain and suggested ways to redirect the invaders using natural obstacles and clever maneuvers. He described how teams could work together to confuse the attackers and prevent them from causing harm. The council listened closely. Milo's approach was different from anything they had considered. Instead of relying on weapons or brute force, it focused on intelligence, creativity, and coordination. Zara's eyes glimmered with interest. "You are brave and clever, Milo. I trust your judgment. Council, we will follow his plan." Preparations began immediately. Milo guided the teams, explaining each step carefully. He taught them simple strategies humans use in their games and training, showing how small actions could have large effects when executed together. The aliens were quick learners, and Milo was impressed by their precision and intelligence. When the invading fleet arrived, Milo's strategy was put into action. Ships were guided into narrow passages where their movements were limited. Floating barriers and light fields created illusions that confused them. Teams worked together to block and redirect the attackers without causing serious damage. The battle was tense but controlled, and Milo moved among the palace leaders, offering advice and encouragement. Queen Zara watched from the palace balcony. She could see the careful coordination and the way Milo remained calm under pressure. Her respect for him grew even more. "Humans are different," she whispered. "They see solutions where we see obstacles." After several tense hours, the invaders were forced to retreat. Milo's plan had worked perfectly. Viralaya had been protected, and no lives were lost. The council members looked amazed. Some whispered among themselves, nodding in approval. Zara turned to Milo, her golden eyes shining. "You have done what few could," she said softly. "You used your mind, not just strength, and you protected our world. I see now why humans are valued. Your courage, intelligence, and creativity are remarkable." Milo felt a wave of relief and pride. He had faced his first real challenge on Viralaya and succeeded. That evening, the palace held a quiet ceremony to honor the effort. Zara approached Milo privately and handed him a small crystal, glowing softly. "This is for you," she said. "It represents the courage and wisdom you have shown. Viralaya will remember your deeds." Milo accepted it humbly. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only did what I thought was right. Your people taught me much as well." Zara smiled faintly. "And yet, you remind us that sometimes, the simplest solutions are the most powerful. You have a gift, Milo, and it is rare. You have begun to change how we see the universe." That night, Milo returned to his room, holding the glowing crystal. He looked out over the palace gardens, reflecting on the events of the day. He realized that his courage alone was not enough. It was his creativity, careful thinking, and willingness to trust others that had made the difference. For the first time, he felt truly connected to Viralaya. He understood that humans could offer something unique to other worlds, not through force, but through intelligence, cooperation, and determination. Milo knew that this was only the beginning of his journey, and that many more challenges and discoveries awaited him. As he lay in bed, Milo thought about Zara's words. There was a sense of warmth and trust between them now, stronger than before. He knew that their connection would grow, and that together, they might change the future of Viralaya in ways neither could yet imagine. Outside, the twin moons reflected on the glowing streams and floating gardens, a reminder that even in a world full of wonders, courage and wisdom could shine the brightest. The morning on Viralaya was calm and bright, with the twin suns casting gentle light over the glowing forests and crystal streams. Milo walked through the palace corridors, carrying the small crystal given to him by Queen Zara. The events of the previous day still weighed in his mind, and he felt both pride and humility. He had faced danger and succeeded, but he knew that understanding this world required more than just one victory. As he entered the council chamber, the members were already gathered. They had prepared for a meeting to discuss the aftermath of the recent attack. Milo noticed the change in their demeanor. They no longer looked skeptical or wary of him. Instead, many nodded respectfully as he entered. Even Cora, who usually remained serious, gave him a small smile. Queen Zara stood at the center, her presence calm and powerful. "Milo," she said, her golden eyes meeting his, "you have shown courage, intelligence, and wisdom. The council has witnessed your actions, and I wish to honor your contributions." Milo felt a mixture of surprise and gratitude. He had not expected such recognition, yet he also understood that it was earned through careful thought and determination. The council members stepped forward one by one, acknowledging his role in protecting Viralaya. They spoke of his ability to think quickly, to find solutions where others saw only danger, and to inspire cooperation among their people. Milo listened quietly, humbled by their words. He realized that this recognition was not about personal glory. It was about the human qualities that he had brought with him: patience, curiosity, and courage. Zara approached him and held out her hand. "You have reminded us of something important," she said softly. "Humans have the ability to see the world in ways that are simple yet powerful. You trust, you question, and you act with purpose. That is why we respect you. Milo accepted her hand, feeling a warmth that was more than just respect. It was a recognition of shared understanding, a connection that crossed the boundaries of species. Later, Milo was invited to participate in a council discussion about the future of Viralaya. Scholars and leaders asked him questions about human societies, how people solve problems, and how communities work together. He explained in simple terms how humans rely on creativity, communication, and teamwork. The council listened intently, often nodding in agreement. Milo could see that his perspective offered new ideas, ones that Viralaya had not considered before. Zara watched him closely throughout the discussion. She asked questions that went beyond knowledge, exploring his thoughts and values. Milo found himself admiring her insight and fairness. She did not judge based on appearance or strength. Instead, she sought understanding, a quality that made her both wise and compassionate. After the meeting, Zara led Milo to a quiet balcony overlooking the glowing forests. The twin suns were high in the sky, their light reflecting in the crystal rivers below. "You have done more than protect our world," she said softly. "You have reminded us of the importance of human qualities. Courage, honesty, and compassion can be as powerful as any weapon or technology." Milo nodded, feeling a deep sense of purpose. "I only tried to do what felt right," he said. "Your people taught me much as well. I have learned that strength is not only physical. It comes from understanding, cooperation, and persistence." Zara smiled faintly, her eyes warm. "And that is why I am drawn to humans, Milo. You possess qualities that inspire. You remind us of the value of simplicity and thoughtfulness. In a world filled with power and knowledge, you have something rare, perspective." Milo felt a quiet joy at her words. He had never imagined that his simple human qualities could be so valued by beings from another world. The council gathered once more in the evening to celebrate the successful defense of Viralaya and the insights Milo had shared. Scholars presented him with small crystal artifacts, each representing a lesson learned from the human perspective. Milo accepted them with gratitude, feeling a sense of connection not only to Zara but to the entire world of Viralaya. As the day ended, Milo walked back to his room, holding the small crystals close. He looked out over the glowing forests, thinking about the trust and respect he had earned. It was not power or technology that had made the difference, but qualities that were often overlooked: patience, understanding, and courage to act with integrity. That night, Milo lay on his bed, gazing at the twin moons above. He realized that his presence on Viralaya was more than a mission. It was a chance to show that humans could contribute in meaningful ways, even on a world so different from their own. He also felt a growing connection to Queen Zara, one built on mutual respect and shared admiration for each other's values. For the first time, Milo understood that being human was not just about exploration or survival. It was about connection, understanding, and the ability to inspire others with simple but powerful qualities. He knew that the bond he was forming with Viralaya and its people, especially Zara, would shape the future in ways he could not yet fully imagine. Outside, the forests glowed softly under the twin moons, a quiet reminder that even in a world filled with wonders, the qualities of a single human could shine brightly and leave a lasting mark. The palace was quiet that evening, with only the soft hum of glowing crystals filling the air. Milo walked through the corridors, carrying a small lantern that shimmered like liquid light. The events of the last few days played in his mind. He had faced danger, earned the council's respect, and discovered the beauty of Viralaya in ways he had never imagined. Yet he could not shake the feeling that something significant was about to happen. Queen Zara appeared in the hall before him, her golden eyes glowing softly. She was alone, and the usual formality that surrounded her seemed lighter tonight. Milo bowed respectfully. "Your Majesty," he said. "Is there something you wish to show me?" Zara shook her head gently. "Not something, Milo. Someone." She gestured toward a balcony that overlooked the glowing forests and crystal rivers. The twin moons reflected on the waters, casting gentle light over the palace gardens. Milo followed her, feeling a strange sense of anticipation. When they reached the balcony, Zara turned to him. Her expression was soft but serious. She looked out over the forest for a moment, as if gathering her thoughts, then faced Milo again. "Milo, I have observed you since the moment you arrived. You carry qualities that are rare, not just on Viralia, but perhaps in the universe. Courage, honesty, creativity, and wisdom. Your presence has changed the way we see the world and ourselves." Milo felt a warmth in his chest. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only try to do what is right." "I never expected such recognition." Zara smiled faintly. "It is not only recognition I feel, Milo. It is something more, personal." Milo's heart beat faster, sensing the seriousness in her tone. She took a deep breath and said, "I wish you were my husband, human." The words hung in the air, clear and sincere. Milo froze, shocked by the confession. He had not anticipated such honesty from a queen, and yet her voice carried no command, only truth. Milo struggled to find words. "Your Majesty. I do not know what to say." Zara's gaze softened. "Do not feel pressured to respond immediately. I only wish for you to understand that humans possess qualities that are rare and valuable. You have shown courage, kindness, and wisdom. You have earned my admiration and respect. These feelings are my own, and I share them honestly." Milo felt a mix of emotions. Pride, humility, and something deeper he could not yet name. He realized that Zara's words were not about status or power, but about recognition and connection. It was a bond built on trust, respect, and understanding. "I am honored, Your Majesty," Milo said finally, his voice calm but sincere. "I never imagined that my presence here could mean so much. Your words, they are humbling, and I feel a deep respect for you as well." Zara stepped closer, her eyes still bright with emotion. "Milo, I am a queen, but I am also a being capable of feeling. Your presence has brought light to our people and reminded me of the value of courage and simplicity. That is why I speak openly. I do not wish to hide my thoughts or feelings from you." Milo nodded slowly, understanding the depth of her honesty. "I respect you, Queen Zara, not only for your leadership but for your wisdom and courage. You see the value in others, and that is rare. I feel a connection to you as well, one built on understanding and shared experiences." For a long moment, they stood together on the balcony, watching the twin moons reflect over the glowing rivers and forests. The palace seemed to hold its breath, as if witnessing a rare and meaningful moment. Milo realized that this was more than a confession. It was a bridge between two worlds, a bond that went beyond words and differences. Zara spoke again, her voice gentle. "Milo, I do not expect you to make decisions now. But I wish for you to know the truth of my feelings. You have shown that humans are capable of great wisdom and courage. That alone is enough to inspire admiration and connection." Milo smiled softly, feeling a sense of peace. "Your honesty means more than you know. I will continue to do my best, not just for your people, but for the trust and respect we share. I hope that, over time, our connection will grow stronger." Zara nodded, her expression filled with warmth. It already has, Milo. Even in a short time, your presence has left a mark on Viralaya, on our people, and on me. I am grateful for that, and I hope the future will allow us to explore this connection further. As the night deepened, Milo and Zara remained on the balcony, speaking quietly about their experiences, their worlds, and the lessons they had learned. The glowing forests below seemed to shine brighter, as if celebrating the understanding and bond forming between human and queen. Milo returned to his room that night with a sense of calm determination. He knew that this was only the beginning of a new chapter, one that could shape the future of Viralaya and Earth alike. He felt honored to be trusted and admired, and he understood that courage, honesty, and wisdom could create bonds that crossed worlds. Outside, the twin moons glowed softly, reflecting the beginning of a new understanding. Milo realized that trust and connection were as powerful as any victory, and that his journey on Viralaya had taken on a meaning far greater than exploration. The morning light on Viralaya was soft and golden. Milo walked through the palace gardens, carrying the small crystal given to him by Queen Zara. The air was filled with the scent of glowing flowers and the gentle hum of the palace. After the events of recent days, Milo felt a sense of calm purpose. He had earned the trust of Zara and her people, and he knew that his role on this world was more than that of a visitor. Queen Zara appeared at the edge of the garden. Her golden eyes reflected the sunlight, and her expression was warm. "Milo," she said, "come with me. I wish to show you something important." Milo followed her through a series of corridors that shimmered with light, until they reached a grand hall filled with scholars, council members, and leaders from across Viralaya. "Today," Zara began, "we celebrate more than the protection of our world. We celebrate understanding, courage, and the lessons we have learned from a human being. Milo has reminded us of the value of wisdom, creativity, and hope." Milo felt a wave of humility. He had not come to Viralaya seeking praise, only to learn and to observe. Yet he realized that the actions of one human could inspire change across an entire world. The council members approached him, bowing respectfully, and offered small gifts crafted from glowing crystal. Each artifact symbolized a quality they admired in humans: patience, courage, creativity, and understanding. Zara stepped forward and placed her hand gently on Milo's shoulder. "You have brought something rare to Viralaya. You have shown that humans are capable of seeing the world with clarity, solving problems with intelligence, and inspiring unity where others see division. For this, we are grateful." Milo nodded, feeling honored. "I am grateful as well, Your Majesty. Your people have taught me more than I could have imagined. I hope that my presence continues to be helpful." After the ceremony, Milo spent time with the scholars and leaders, sharing ideas about technology, problem solving, and cooperation. They listened intently, asking questions that challenged him to think more deeply. Milo realized that his human perspective offered something unique to Viralaya, not in terms of power, but in understanding and insight. As the day went on, Milo and Zara walked together through the palace gardens. The floating flowers and glowing streams reflected the soft light of the twin suns. "Milo," Zara said, "your presence here has changed how we see ourselves and our world. You have reminded us that strength is not only in technology or power, but in courage, wisdom, and the willingness to act with integrity." Milo smiled. "I have learned that courage can take many forms. Sometimes it is standing up to danger, and sometimes it is speaking honestly or trusting others. Your people have shown me that connection and understanding can be as powerful as any weapon." Zara's eyes softened. "That is why I wish for you to remain with us, not only as a guest but as a partner. You have become part of our world, and I hope that together we can build something greater than either of our peoples could do alone. Milo felt a sense of pride and purpose unlike anything he had experienced before. He realized that his journey on Viralaya was more than exploration, it was the start of a partnership that could change the course of history. In the evening, Milo and Zara visited the palace balcony, overlooking the glowing forests. The twin moons reflected on the crystal rivers, creating a scene of breathtaking beauty. Milo, Zara said, I do not ask for anything immediate. But I wish for you to know that your courage, honesty, and wisdom have earned my respect and admiration. You have inspired me, as well as our people, to see beyond fear and power. Milo nodded, feeling the depth of her words. I am honored, Your Majesty. I feel that we have formed a bond built on understanding and trust. I will do everything I can to honor that connection and help Viralaya thrive. Over the next weeks, Milo worked alongside Zara and the council, helping to plan projects that improved Viralaya's technology, expanded knowledge, and strengthened the bonds between its people. His human creativity and insight continued to inspire the aliens, while Zara's leadership ensured that their efforts were effective and harmonious. Together, they became a symbol of cooperation, hope, and unity. As the sun set one evening, Milo and Zara stood together, watching the glowing rivers and floating gardens. Milo felt a sense of wonder and belonging. He had come from a distant world as a simple explorer, and now he was part of something far greater. He understood that humans could make a difference not through force, but through courage, wisdom, and connection. Zara smiled, her golden eyes reflecting the soft light. Milo, our peoples have learned much from each other. This is only the beginning. Together, we can explore new horizons, face new challenges, and build a future where understanding and courage guide us. Milo returned the smile, feeling a quiet joy and determination. I am ready, Your Majesty. I will stand with you, and with your people, as we face whatever comes next. We will build a world and perhaps a universe where cooperation and understanding prevail. As night fell, the palace and forests glowed with a gentle, steady light. Milo realized that this was more than a mission or an adventure. It was the start of a lasting alliance between humans and Viralaya, a bond that would inspire generations to come. He knew that courage, wisdom, and connection could bridge worlds, and that together with Zara, they had the power to change the universe. Outside, the twin moons shone over the glowing streams and floating gardens, a reminder that even in a vast universe, the courage and wisdom of one human could leave a mark that would last forever. Milo smiled, ready for the adventures that lay ahead.